Back here at home, with New Yorkers still reeling from the first round of city budget cuts, including a dramatic cut in the number of officers, comes word of a second round of belt-tightening.
And this time, migrant services are on the chopping block. CBS 2 political reporter Marcia Kramer here now with more on this. Marcia.
Maurice and Christine, to be blunt, migrants arriving in New York City are in for a rude awakening. They may not be lodged in pricey midtown hotels anymore. And instead of culturally appropriate meals, they may be handed a lunch bag with a turkey sandwich. The city's budget crunch is that bad.
I know New Yorkers are angry when they hear about these efficiency cuts. Well, New Yorkers, I want you to know I'm angry also.
Mayor Adams talking about yet another round of budget cuts, 5%, that agencies will have to come up with within the next few weeks. And while the belt tightening is caused in part by the tens of thousands of asylum seekers seeking shelter here, they're now going to find that the city that never sleeps is not going to be so generous going forward in finding places for them to sleep. According to this letter sent to commissioners, the city is going to slash migrant services by 20%. That's $1.5 billion. It's, quote, designed to reduce per diem costs and reduce the length of shelter stays. That's a nice way of saying migrants might not be staying in pricey midtown hotels. Are you going to have to close some of the shelters, some of the expensive hotels you're using in favor of the bigger congregate shelters?
Nothing is off the table. Nothing.
Will we see people sleeping on the street?
Our desire has always been in a layer approach. The first most important layer is not to have children and families sleeping on the street. But I've made it clear after over 140,000 migrants and asylum seekers, of course, that is just continuing to increase. Thousands are still coming in each week. The visible signs of this crisis is going to start to show itself.
The budget director said in his agency letter that the migrant cuts were due in part to a decision by the governor to limit asylum seeker aid to targeted interventions like legal services instead of costly housing and shelter needs. The governor made that clear today.
We have to be, have common sense on what we can actually handle, the city and the state, and the policies to say that there's not unlimited housing for the entire world to come stay in a hotel in Midtown. Okay, that era is over. And that's just a reality check.
The budget director said that the city had been hoping to get 1/3 of the cost of migrant shelters from the state.
So therefore, we're trying to, as best as we can, not to take any more drastic action than we need to do.
Now, the agencies, including the Office of Asylum Seeker Operations, have until December 8th to come up with plans for the latest round of belt tightening.